Okay, welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Pinoto. I'm the brokerage manager here at Greystone Investment Group. I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule today for our special training. It's called the Unqualified Buyers Pipeline. And we have a special presenter here. We have the CEO of Credit Snitch. Her name is Angelique Soto, and she's going to be showing us the ins and outs of not just credit restoration, but how you can use this as a wealth building tool and so much more. So thank you for coming today. I just want to remind you that when you come in the room, you're going to be muted. But if you have a question, please just hit that raise hand feature, or you can type it in the chat. We love questions. We love interaction. So without any further delay, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Angelique. And before that, real quick, I do want to give a shout out to Chad Williams from Baxter Title. He introduced us to Angelique, and we really appreciate that. So Angelique, without any further delay, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Michael, for the grand introduction. I want to say thank you, everyone, for having me and for being a part of this important event. My name is Angelique Soto, and I am the CEO of Credit Snitch, the Unqualified Buyers Pipeline. All right, I want to tell you story time, okay? So it says about us, but it's really story time. I want to get into the reason why credit. Angelique, what made you decide to get into credit? How did Credit Snitch come to be? And I want to say that God has a way of orchestrating things in our lives, and we think we're going in one direction, and then he shows us, no, honey, it's not your plan, it's my plan. And he sends you in the direction he wants you in. So about 5 years ago, I went through a nasty divorce. And of course, I had two incomes in my household. I lost one, and my credit was shot. I could not afford to buy a new home, a car, or anything. It was a very uncomfortable situation. I'm a single mom, so I had to find a place for me and my daughter. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. I was humiliated over the fact that I was an adult with a child, and my credit wasn't up to par. I could not fend for myself. I don't know. I think that's the most humiliating time of my life and lowest time of my life, but also the most inspiring, because I was able to think about myself as a human being. Okay, I made some mistakes, and I thought about my self-esteem, which was a part of my credit. And I didn't realize that until it wasn't available to me anymore. Well, at least unlocking the potential of my credit. Once it wasn't available anymore, I was limited. And being in that situation opened my eyes to other options. I said, okay, I need to find a credit restoration professional who can help me fix my credit. I sought out two professionals. I gave them over $3,000 and nothing was done. So I was a victim of fraud with several credit restoration professionals, and I became angry. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to find out more about credit. Why is this such a difficult topic? Why wasn't this taught in my household, right? And I went around asking family, friends, hey, do you know how to fix credit? Do you know anything about credit? And the basic responses were, just pay your bills on time. And I was like, does anyone have anything more to offer? And no one did in my family. And that was unfortunate because I needed help. I looked into consumer law, and I realized how convoluted the credit process was. I didn't know how I was going to sift through it, but I buckled down and I learned everything there was to know about consumer law, and also collections and credit. And the findings were so empowering that in 7 months, I fixed my own credit. I got a 750. I unlocked $25,000 lines of credit. I also bought a car, a home, and multiple properties for vacation rental income. As you know, I said I lost an income, so I needed to create another income to supplement for my ex-husband's lost income and to support my daughter. So vacation rentals became that for me. And people got word in my family that I fixed my credit and I was doing very well. I started fixing my family's credit, started fixing my friends' credit. And then before I knew it, I had a full-fledged business fixing people's credit and also empowering them. It was the most eye-opening moment of my life. It kicked me into adulthood on a whole nother level, and I'm so thankful to God for it, because now I'm in the position where I can help people who were in my position, who didn't understand credit. It's a very convoluted process, and I took time, and now I empower others with all the knowledge. And I'm really happy to do what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do. So I've turned this into an inspiring business to help others become homeowners and unlocking their potential, their buying potential. So I want to say more about our company, my company, Credit Snitch. Our dedication to excellence has garnered the trust and confidence of both our valued clients and esteemed partners. We proudly facilitated an impressive 5.8 million in realtor and lender transactions to date and growing. A clear demonstration of our commitment to delivering exceptional outcomes. As Credit Snitch, our mission is to empower clients to transform their aspirations of home ownership into tangible reality. Central to our mission is the conversion of unqualified buyers into valuable prospects, okay? By nurturing these prospects, we create a sustained flow of qualified leads that effortlessly increase return on investment. And at Credit Snitch, we go beyond transactions. We orchestrate life-changing financial transformations, which is what I did for myself. I'm not just pushing a product. I am the product. I am the experience. Therefore, I cater white glove service to that experience, which has become a recipe for success, shall I say. With every action we take, our goal remains unwavering: to empower clients and provide results that are favorable to everyone, not just to the client, but everyone involved in the home buying process. Now I want to talk about a really important tool that we use called the Credit Guide. The Credit Guide is the real estate professionals and lenders, comprehensive credit guide to kickstart and the seamless integration of Credit Snitch into the client relationship. So this is a tool. What's in the guide? Understanding your credit score. We're talking to the consumer. Now, keep in mind, consumers are not fully versed in the world of credit. So this guide is an introduction to that. It helps them understand what is their credit score, the factors that influence their credit scores, navigating the path to credit success, and who is Credit Snitch, our story. Our receipts, as they say in current day. Because without receipts, which is the feedback, the testimonies, we're dead in the water. And I absolutely love the fact that we have 5.8 million in referred business to stand on. That shows our level of commitment to our consumers. Also, it says inside the guide is embracing the process. Right? People don't understand. This is a journey, not a sprint. It takes time. It took you time to get into some credit issues. It's going to take some time to get out of them. It's also a collaborative tool for the realtor and lender approach. Okay, it explains so much about what the realtor does and what the lender does, so that the consumer understands, okay, this is the lender's role, this is the realtor's role. I'm not completely lost in this process. Right? So we're introducing them to the process, preparing for lending and realtor interactions. This guide serves as an indispensable tool for realtors and lenders and clients alike, providing a comprehensive credit framework. Okay, and everyone loves it. And what I love about this guide is not only informative, but it's also a collaborative tool between me, the lenders, and the realtors. You and I get to, collaborate and put your 1-page or 2-page insert with your, with your credentials, and you're saying, hey, I'm co-signing this, this guide. I support it. I'm in a relationship, a collaborative effort to help you reach success. And they see your face and they see my information, and together they know we are championing for their success. And that is why I love this guide so much. It's a great tool. The 5 factors of credit. Now, as we go through the process, and I really feel it's important for everyone on this call to understand what makes up a credit score. You know, I just don't teach the consumers. I also love to lead in teaching realtor teams, and I even speak with lender teams on how credit, you know, how credit all works. Not everyone knows. So the 5 factors are payment history, which is 35% of your credit score. It's the highest factor. So everyone is, you know, everyone I have met does not understand the importance of a late payment. One late payment will sink your credit score down up to 120 points. And that is why I am so adamant on every single social media platform. Do not take late payments lightly. It is detrimental to your credit score for up to 7 years. So I explain that to all the clients and every realtor and lender I come across. And you'd be surprised how many people are shocked by that, because people are very relaxed with late payments. You cannot be. This is not a 3 strikes and you're out type of situation. This is a 1 strike and you're out. So credit utilization is the next. It's 30% of your score. Try to use only 30% of your available credit. And I always say this to all my clients, lenders, realtors. Why 30%? Because anything above 30% makes the credit companies believe that you are leveraging too much of your credit and your money, and you are at high risk. So to lower the risk factor, stay under 30%. And I'm also going to say, if you are looking for approvals, you want to stay at 0 if you can. If you can pay down your credit cards to 0, you will have a higher credit score, which will put you in the better rates for loans and for mortgages. So credit history is 15% of your score, and you have to keep your cards open, even if you aren't using them anymore. Closing your accounts will shorten your credit history, and you lose all of that reputation, and your credit score will drop. So if you have a lot of credit cards and you're just like, I don't want to use all these credit cards, I'm so tired of using them, it's okay. You can use your credit cards every 5 months. Just buy like a $10 purchase, a $15 purchase, then pay it down in that pay period. And then you move on the next 5 months, you do the same thing. But you have to engage your credit cards every 5 months. Otherwise, they will be closed and you will lose your history and your reputation as if it never existed. Therefore, your credit score will drop. Credit history, 15% of your credit score. Keep your credit cards. Wait, I think I just went over that one. Sorry, guys. Credit mix, 10% of your score. Try to keep a good mix of credit, different types of credit. It's credit cards, student loans, auto loans, and mortgage. All count towards having a good mix of credit. The next one is new credit, 10% of your score. Okay, try not to open a bunch of new credit cards at once. They result in hard inquiries, which will lower your score, and they make you look like a credit risk. Again, I talk about inquiries all the time. Pre-approvals are your best friends. Why? It's a soft pull. It is not a hard inquiry. You are allowed 5 inquiries every 2 years. A lot of people do not know this. Anything beyond 5 years, it's like sending out a silent, it's like sending out a silent alert to every financial institution that you are overextending yourself. You will look like a risk, and they will not approve any credit cards that you apply for moving forward, as well as they will lower your credit score. So try to only apply for 2.5 lines of credit annually, no more than 5 every 2 years. Okay, any questions, anyone?
Yeah, Jay. Go ahead, Jay. Unmute.
Yeah, so I do have a question, but I want to start off by saying that hit home, and you just answered a question that just happened to me yesterday. I got a notification from Credit Karma that one of my accounts was closed. And back in the day, I wasn't as great at managing my finances, and I went through some credit problems and went through a consolidation, and this is probably 15 years ago. And at that point, I thought the best thing to do was just close all my cards once I paid them off. And then I learned it wasn't. So now I've got these cards open, but now you just answered my question. I haven't used them in over 5 months, and that's why they automatically close. So that is the one thing when I look at like my Credit Karma, I'm green, except for age of credit. And age of credit is one of those things that I'm like, I'm 46 years old. I've been using credit my whole life, and it says I have like 1 year worth of credit or a year and a half or something. So I think that's a very important point for everybody to pay attention to, because that's huge.
It is.
My question, I have two questions. My first one is, how accurate are things like Credit Karma? Would be my first question. Is when you look at Credit Karma and it's telling you whether it's the score that's accurate or the behavior. That's my first question, is how accurate is that? And then I'll let you answer that because I just forgot my second one, but it'll come back.
Okay, sure. Well, Credit Karma is actually a credit marketing app. It is not reliable at all. They were sued over 3 years ago for 2.8 million, I believe, for deceiving their consumers. They would send, you are pre-approved for this amount of money, and when the consumer would apply for it, they were not approved, and it would take one of their one of their
Hard inquiries.
Yeah, sorry, hard inquiries. Yes. So consumers were very angry with that. They were losing points. So they filed a class action suit against Credit Karma. And now they have a bad reputation for deceiving consumers.
Okay, thank you. So my second question, you just brought it to me, was on the hard inquiries. I've heard that if you're like shopping for a car or shopping for a house, if you're shopping for the same thing and you do like 3 inquiries within a certain time period, that it only counts as 1 hard inquiry. Is that true?
No.
Not true.
No, not true. Not true. And this is a common misconception. I have a lot of clients that go into dealerships looking for the best deal. That's the worst thing you could ever do. You need to, what happens is a lot of clients go into dealerships and they sign section 21 of the contract that states you are allowed to find me a loan to finance my car. But what they're not realizing is they're not putting a cap on how many times they pull your credit report. So I have clients currently who have over 27 inquiries, hard inquiries from dealerships. So that's definitely a misconception. If people pull your credit report, you're going to have a inquiry. So my number one advice to everyone, if you're buying a car, then go to your credit union and get a pre-approval. They'll assign you a blank check. You'll go into the dealership, you'll fill out that check, and then you have that, you now have your financing with the company you've chosen with the 1 hard inquiry. Any other questions?
Yes, we have a question from Cody. Go ahead and unmute, please.
Hey, sorry if there's any background noise where I'm at currently, but quick question for you, because in my time as an MLO, I can't tell you how many times I was told by my direct supervisors to be like, hey, yes, advise your client that they can shop around and they have a 90-day window to pull their credit with multiple lenders. That's just complete BS, essentially.
Yeah, I have literally 5 clients who have guaranteed rate pulling their credit report and several other lenders, and it shows up. The thing is, what I want to say to you, and again, a lot of lenders are now doing soft pulls. So in those cases, it does not show up. A pre-approval does not show up, but a hard inquiry does. Okay. And with me, when clients come to me, they're lender heavy because it was hard inquiries. The beauty is, in my field, I can dispute those items and remove them from their credit reports because they didn't result in an approval. Okay.
Is that still the same if you use like the credit reference number from the original pull, or is that kind of a loophole?
It is a loophole. It is a loophole.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
So just to be clear, Angelique, pulling credit for a vehicle is different from pulling credit for a home, correct?
Correct.
And just like Cody said, I've always known that, going for vehicles, they can pull multiple times and it's going to hurt you.
Yes.
For homes with mortgages, I've always heard, and I've known that, you have this window to shop around to different mortgage people to see what's the best deal. So
yeah.
I wanted to make sure we're all clear. We know which one is which. I think we had another hand up. Someone else had a question.
And it really depends on the lender, you know.
Okay.
Guarantee rate has now, the only reason why I speak about guarantee rates because I've actually seen it happen. They now have moved into soft pre-approvals, and that's a soft pull.
Okay, we have a question from Carlo. Go ahead and unmute, Carlo.
Hi, Angelique, and thank you for this this call and training. My question is probably a common one. Customers usually are under the understanding that medical bills don't really hurt their credit much, but I just want to learn more about the truth behind medical bills, because I've heard things like if they have a lot of medical bills, don't pay them because otherwise they will hurt them. And I think there's some truth to that. I'm thinking the best thing for them to do is to try to get them off their credit report somehow and maybe work out a payment plan for them that's outside of the actual credit. Can you shed some light on medical bills and hospital bills, stuff like that?
Of course. I've worked with a few lenders, and FHA will ignore. A lot of lenders will ignore the medical bills. Also, on the legal side, any medical bills that are under $500 should not be on the credit report. So I get a lot of those removed. But I often tell my clients, if you have high medical bills on your credit report, you should have a discussion with the financial institution and ask them for an itemized hospital bill, because they could very well charge you $700, $800 for a Tylenol. But because you didn't ask for an itemization, you weren't able to see what they were pricing. And you can literally bring them price comparisons and say, hey, this is really expensive. And you can negotiate the rate down for itemized items on the hospital bills. And there are also, because hospitals are nonprofits, they have a lot of charities. You can fill out applications for charities to pay off old hospital bills that are just astronomical. And I've done it for several clients. So that's another avenue. You know, take advantage of the fact that a lot of the hospitals are nonprofit, and they do have those sorts of companies that are willing to help people who can't afford to pay their bills. So did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Yep. You're very welcome.
Yeah. I think it's awesome that we're getting so many questions now. And I know Angelique has so much more presentation to give us. But we'll take one more. We'll take one more question before we move on, because we're about 27 minutes in. We have about another 27 minutes. So let's go. Okay. Esther, you're on now.
Hello. Hi, Angelique. Thanks a lot for this presentation. I just have a quick question. In terms of the amount of points that our credit is hit whenever we're shopping for a mortgage, if it's a hard pull, is there a rule of thumb as to how many points are discounted from our credit score?
It ranges. It can range from 7 to 5.
7 to 5 points. Okay.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, let's proceed.
Okay, great. Moving on. And thank you guys for all those great questions. All right, so home buyers events. These, I love these. I recently started doing home buyers events, and I'm so excited because I get to talk to the consumers and discuss credit mindset. I share my testimony, and I also, ask, what is your relationship with money? I get into the psyche of the consumer when I do home buyers events, and it's been so effective. A lot of times people are window shopping and they're flirting with the idea of being a homeowner, but they may not be quite ready yet, right? So those are the consumers that I've been most effective at reaching. And at a few events, I've spoken about your relationship with money, the mindset. It's really important for people to understand, do you have a poor man's mindset, or do you have a wealth mindset? There truly is a difference when you're thinking in lack instead of thinking in abundance. And shifting that mindset is really important to a consumer who is just flirting with the idea, but they don't quite know how they're going to get there. And there's a part of them that feels like they will never be a homeowner. I love being in the room of those consumers because I will shift a paradigm to help them understand that it is possible, right? Because I've had the same thoughts. So I can speak from that point of view and bring them to the light, so to speak. And then I go into the why. You know, I go into my why, and it's, you know, it inspires me. I look at where I came from and how far I've come and my why. I want to be financially secure. And there's so many people have whys, and having them think about why they want to get into a home, what type of home they want to get into, seeing themselves in a home, being inspired at events. And those are the kind of events I truly love. And then I get into credit basics, where I'm discussing the same things I'm discussing with you today, and they all have the very same questions. So just, you know, filling the void of not, you know, the common misconceptions, right? And setting the record straight so that they're more confident as they're moving forward in their home buying journey. I also have the investment for income discussion while I present, because the American dream is evolving and income generating assets are at the forefront, guiding the way to empowering financially struggling Americans in securing lasting financial stability. I'm constantly hearing generational wealth. And it's resonating throughout the world right now. I think everyone really wants to find financial stability more now than ever. So I have that discussion as well. And that brings me into reducing student loan debt through multifamily investment opportunities. I touch on that. You know, I even bring into the conversation my own personal experience. Being a single mom and needing a second income, I went into vacation rental income, and that became my husband. And my joke is, and my husband does not talk back and he doesn't cheat, and everyone laughs, you know? So it's, you know, I make light of the conversation, but it truly is important to create multiple streams of revenue in America these days, because a lot of people don't feel they have job security, or there isn't enough, and they need to feel that financial stability. So I open them up to the idea of potentially investing in income producing assets. And I share, we have a plan to make these dreams a reality. Ask us how, right? So I push things further for them to understand that they're not just in a regular home buying event. They're in a supportive team unit. And our objective is to get them to the signing table and success. Any questions? Okay, great. We're moving on. I am happy to announce that we have a home buyer's credit program called HCP. Our unique program is designed to restore credit effectively and affordably. We carefully crafted a comprehensive strategy that involves collaborating with lenders to reverse engineer underwriting disqualifying factors that could prevent approvals. By thoroughly dissecting the credit report, we identify the barriers that stand in the way of an approval, right? And I find that a lot of our clients, talk about, wow, credit repair is just so expensive. That is the common consensus in the market. And I said, well, no, I can relate. I paid $3,000 to a credit professional who never did any work, who never showed me the results. And I want to be different. I want to be the change that I seek in the world. So I made the packages very affordable. The Home Buyers Credit Program is offering $189 to start, $99 a month, with white glove service, and empowering them not just by fixing credit, but teaching them how to fix their credit along with me in the journey, empowering them to be the thought leader in their households and teach the very same information to their family, their children's children, and become the thought leaders in their generation. We also have another tier for $289, $99 a month. And this tier is for the middle ground credit report that has multiple late payments and derogatory items, and I would say like collections, right? So there's a little more work with this one, which is why the price point goes up. But we've made it very affordable to fit within people's budgets so that not only they could still live their regular lives and live comfortably, as well as get this service done so that they can meet their goal to becoming a homeowner, but also so that they can save for their down payment, because that truly is a part of the process. And that's why I made these packages affordable. Again, we have $389 to start, $99 a month in our next tier. And that takes care of bankruptcies, that takes care of child support, that also takes care of hospital bills and multiple things. Obviously, you see the tiers go up in price, and that's because there are more things on the credit report, like a repossession as well, and we deal with that as well. So I'm really proud of this package. A lot of people commend me on creating the home buyers program because it's an affordable way for clients to achieve home ownership. Any questions?
Okay, we have Jay. Go ahead. Jay.
I know you're short on time, and I don't want to keep asking questions, but
That's great.
you mentioned things, but I didn't hear evictions or foreclosures. And as we work with property management, a lot of times people don't get approved for rentals for those two reasons. So do any of your tiers cover those things and help those people?
Correct. It would be the 389. It falls along the lines of bankruptcy and the more difficult items. Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Awesome. This is awesome.
No, I love it.
information,
I love
Angelique.
it. He's like specific. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Moving on. Okay, so this is the unqualified buyer sales funnel optimization. This just explains the process for moving forward with working with the unqualified buyers pipeline at Credit Snitch. I want to explain the process if you decided to work with us and move forward with bringing us your first client. What does that look like? So you would initially send an email introducing the client to me, saying, "Hi, Angelique, I'm so excited to introduce you to this wonderful client. They need a little bit of help. Share the lender's information so that I could speak with the lender so we could figure out what are the disqualifying factors, because we're working backwards to figure out what are they, and deal with them first so that we can get that turnaround for that pre-approval as quickly as possible." So after you introduce me, the client, and the lender, that's great. I take it from there. I call the lead. We have a conversation. I find out what's troubling their credit reports. I let them know, again, nurturing the lead, giving them value, telling them the strategies we're going to work on, the time period and how long, the time period it should take, and the price. And then once they agree, we move on to the next process, and that is conversion optimization, which is sign up. They sign up, they pay their invoice. We begin the journey. I send you an email letting you know, hey, they've started. We're super excited. I give you monthly updates to let you know where we are in the process. And then a month before graduation, a month before they're about to qualify, I send you an email saying our client is about to graduate. And then we do a whole big graduation via email, bringing everyone back in, edifying each other in the process, congratulating the client, quickly moving them into the pre-approval process, then moving them into looking for a new home, and then closing, taking a picture and showing how successful we've been during the process. Any questions? I heard someone.
I think that's real powerful because I've had clients go to get credit repair or something like that, and I never see them again. I think it's great that you take them through that process, but you also keep us included and you bring them right back so they're able to move forward in our process. So as an agent, I can really appreciate someone in credit saying, not only I'm going to help them, I'm going to bring them back and explain that process. So that's a good thing for me. Do we have any other questions for that?
And I want to add on to that. When I created the process for this company, I have a corporate background. I've worked in advertising and sales at Adobe Systems for years. And I understand how important, and my degree also is in business administration. So I understand process, right? And communication. So I've created Credit Snitch to have that communication, which is key because all the team players need to understand where we are in the process so that we can provide that white glove service and support each other to the end, to the success, the finish line. And, we have a CRM system, which manages all of our clients. I have a team of 5 individuals and growing to support our growing clientele. And yes, communication is key to success. We are in this together. We're a team, and we do our best to be as transparent as possible and informative during the process.
Okay. We have a question from Esther.
Hi, Esther.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I was just curious as to what's the time frame that it takes to take the clients from the referral point to the graduation point on
Well,
average.
it depends. Sometimes people only have 2 blemishes on their credit report, and that could take up to 60 to 90 days. And then we have clients that are with me for a year. But then we have clients that are with me for 6 months. It really depends on how many items they have on their credit report.
Of course. Okay, very good. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Nope. Okay, great. Moving on. Okay, so unlocking a powerful partnership. Welcome to the new era of real estate collaboration with Credit Snitch. Together, we have the power to revolutionize the process of turning unqualified buyers into confident homeowners and achieving higher ROI. Return on investment is everything for your teams, and I understand that. I used to be on the client side, right? I was that person. And now, I've also been on the sales side, and I want to bridge the gap, okay? When you integrate Credit Snitch into your suite of services, you're enlisting a strategic partner with expertise in guiding buyers through the journey of credit transformation, effectively eliminating the limitations posed by unqualified buyers. Okay, no more sending bye-bye. No one said, oh, you're not qualified by. No more sending people out the door. That's essentially sending money out the door. That no longer needs to happen with us. Our collaboration is rooted in a shared objective to ensure a smooth transition to the closing table and establish a new sales pipeline that leverages unconventional strategies. By uniting forces, we are not only setting a higher standard for service and excellence, but we're also cultivating a real estate ecosystem that thrives on tangible results. Our initial success of 5.8 million in referrals is truly just the beginning. And I'm excited about our growth, our potential of growth for the future. We eagerly anticipate being your unwavering support system, contributing value to your team through our specialized knowledge and ensuring that individuals' dreams of home ownership become a reality. It truly is teamwork, and I am happy to be the market disruptor for this area and underserved market. So that is what we have to offer our partners and growing. Allure Realty, EXP, and Nexen, Chevron, Guarantee Rate, Carbon Team for Cross Country, Florida Wholesale Mortgage, and Chase and growing.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Okay, we had a couple questions come in. One was, what's the difference in personal credit and business credit? Do they work the same? What's the ins and outs of those? What's the difference?
With personal credit, it reports on TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. On the business side, depending. If you're personally guaranteeing it, it will show up on your personal. But if you are not personally guaranteeing it and you have a good credit standing in business, then it will not show. And in most cases, when you're not personally guaranteeing credit, it does not ruin your personal credit. It just stays on the business side. And you get higher lines of credit. So the higher you go in your limits, it doesn't affect your score with business. With personal, it's the complete opposite.
Okay, thank you for that clarity, because on my businesses, I have these credit limits that's much higher, and I never see any, inquiries and things like that on my credit report. So thank you for clearing that up. Jay, we had question from Jay.
Yeah, now that I know we have time for questions and I don't feel the pressure, I want to ask you something. So something that we're kind of working on cross departmentally is property management gets a lot of people that apply for properties for rent and they don't get accepted. And so we have access to all of that data of those individuals. And so they're partnering with the lending department to be able to give them all these leads and, 200, 300, 400 leads of people that their credit is, not in a good place, which is why they're not getting approved. So you had mentioned that part of your process is when you get the referral, it's, hey, let me get introduced to the client and the lender. There is no lender in this scenario. So could you do the same thing with just the credit report? Because they do get their credit pulled when their application is screened. Could you take that same credit report and now you have an opportunity for this client to either become a renter or to then work with the lending team to become a home buyer?
Absolutely. That's a great question. When it comes to renters, the process does change. I have a third-party app that I use because I do not ask for social security numbers, and nor do any of our counterparts. We like to keep that information private. So we do have a tool that allows us to pull credit reports and see into and drill down, see late payments, everything, even down to their utilization and where their budget is. And we walk them through the process of discussing what are the issues. And it's just a different, we're not talking to the lender. Now we're just talking about getting some derogatory items off so that we can bring up their credit scores to over 700.
Okay, great.
Yep. So we can service those. And those are actually on the easier side.
Okay, we have a question from Chad Williams. Chad, go ahead and unmute, please.
Hi, Angelique. Great presentation. Quick
you.
question. If I was bringing a client, how do you protect the client? Say I was bringing a client, how do I know that you're not going to take it and give it to Michael?
Absolutely.
First of
Credit
all,
snitch.
she should do that. She should. Go ahead and answer that question.
Good question, Chad. Thank you so much. Credit Snitch has a mutual NDA where we, it basically says we are not allowed to speak with other companies about your leads or anything that has to do with your business. We are loyal to you, our service is to you, and your clients are yours. So we have a legal binding contract.
Great.
Thank you, Chad. That was a great question.
Great question. Great question. Okay, do we have anybody maybe from the lending team or any agent that have a question for Angelique?
Question.
Okay.
Hi, Angelique.
We have
Janet.
Hi, Janet.
Hi. Just as a question in regards to credit when someone has a debt consolidation loan and they're still wanting to buy a home. What would you tell someone in that case? Say is it even a good idea to do a debt consolidation loan when they're trying to buy a home?
No, ma'am. I think credit consolidation companies is a ripoff, from my opinion. They don't think about the late payment aspect. They're only looking to negotiate a lower amount of money on the debt. And what happens is they end up forcing a default. And in most cases, the late payments ruin the credit report. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They also have power of attorney. I think that's too much power for someone to have. This is a complete stranger to speak on your behalf. I think it's the worst idea and the worst company ever created. And I feel like it should be illegal.
How do you really feel, though?
I know. It's upsetting. No, it's upsetting. I have several clients who have been in that situation.
Okay. So obviously the best thing is to try to figure out how to just maybe pay down their debt versus.
Absolutely. I would say, yeah, I would ask them to seek out a financial advisor.
Okay. Thank you. That's awesome.
You're very welcome.
Great question, Janet. We have another question from
it.
Esther.
Yeah,
Hi,
sorry, but
Esther.
I was just, hi again. I was just wondering, based on the comments that you just made regarding debt forgiveness, when a person has, when you guys handle reduction in debt for your clients, do they have to pay taxes on the portion that was forgiven?
Yeah, in most cases, the company will issue a 1099 and they will be forced to pay taxes on it at the end of the year because the government sees that forgiveness is not so forgiving as extra income.
So, in other words, it's not really to the client's advantage to do that, is it?
No, it is not, which is why I tell a lot of my clients, if you knew consumer law, you wouldn't even talk to them.
Okay, very good. All righty then. Thank you. I do
You're
appreciate your
welcome.
answer. Bye-bye now.
All right, awesome questions. We have more time. If anyone have any questions or comments or something that you thought was prolific today in this training, we want to thank you again for joining us. Let's see.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Michael. I really appreciate it. These are great questions, by the way.
Absolutely. Jay, I think he has his hands up.
Does that surprise you?
Not at all.
So I have one piece of insight that I want to provide, and then I have a very basic question. So the insight I want to provide is, as I'm listening to the presentation from Angelique, I'm thinking about Graystone's core values and our cultural values. And I know for me as a decision maker in the company, I always think about this: does this other organization align with who we are? And I just want to say that you are like spot on in the sense that our values are professionalism, personalized service, transparency, and collaborative. And every point you've made has touched on exactly those same four qualities that we look for. So kudos to you. And I think that you're going to be an amazing partner for us. And then the question I wanted to ask is probably back to credit basics. When you attempt to increase your credit limit with a credit card that you already have, is that a soft pull or is that a hard inquiry?
It depends because American Express will sometimes not do a hard inquiry, but Capital One will. It really depends on the institution. Because Capital One, when I've asked Capital One to give me an increase in the past, they have given me a hard inquiry. But then I've asked American Express and there is no hard inquiry.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And by the way, a lot of companies will do annual peaks into the credit report. So it's they'll do a soft pull. And they're moving more in that direction.
Good enough.
So here's a question. So what's the ideal company that's like top of your list of getting a credit card? I mean, you mentioned American Express, you mentioned Capital One, we know Wells Fargo, all of these people. Who, in your opinion, has the total package of incentives and all those other things, bells and whistles, if you can get it?
Fire, American Express Platinum Business, which I do have. American Express Hilton Honors. You can go to Japan and be treated like a king and queen. It really depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? Because there's credit cards that give you cash back, and you can take advantage of that and get extra money for traveling, for whatever it is that you're into. For extra gas, for extra groceries. And I teach a lot of my clients how to do that. And they love that part. And then there's travel jacking. If you're a traveler, you know, you want to take advantage of all those traveling credit cards like American Express Business. You get TSA Pre, they paid for that. You know, they have all these perks for that $200 annual fee, $400 annual fee. But there's so many perks. You get into all the Delta, what do they call them? The Centennial lounges, the Delta lounges, things like that. So it really depends on what do you love? What is your lifestyle? There are many credit cards on the market that cater to the lifestyle and your likes. Figure out what that is, do your research, and find the best credit cards on the market that cater to that. And they'll give you points and perks. And there's also people on YouTube who talk about travel hacking, right? So there's a lot of personalities on YouTube, which is what I've done, I've watched a lot of travel hackers to figure out, okay, what would be the best credit cards for my trip to Japan? Okay, so it's Hilton Honors, because if I stay at the Hilton in Osaka, I can get a butler and all kinds of perks, and me and my daughter can really enjoy that experience, right, for a fraction of the cost. So you really need to think about what is your lifestyle and choose accordingly.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Any other questions? Here's one that just came in. We hear on YouTube about people using their credit to invest and things like Airbnb and things of that sort. Is that true?
Yes, yes. And it was one of the first mistakes I made. I used my personal credit to leverage, right? I often say to people, if you weren't born with a bag of money or you're not a trust fund baby, like I was not, my wealth lies in my credit. So I had to build up my credit. I made the mistake of investing in vacation rental with my personal credit, right? And I didn't know so much about business credit at the time. So, I kind of suffered a little bit until I learned about business credit and I unlocked that power, right? So you have to learn, you have to crawl before you run. And that's what I did. Luckily, I was able to meet mentors who taught me about business credit. And then I moved into that area and I was safeguarding my personal after a while. And I didn't know that initially, but yes, you can do that. Is it the safe way to do it? No. But a lot of people feel like it's, they really need to move on opportunities and they use their personal. And I just say, if you're going to do that, just know that you're putting yourself at risk and your credit is your livelihood. And that better be a really good investment. It better be worth it for you to put that important credit worthiness on the line, because you can't do anything without credit these days. I always say, just wait until you transition over into business credit, work your way into that, and then use your business credit to get into investments, because that's the safer way to do it.
Okay, all right. And I think we had a comment from our CEO, Jorge Vasquez. It says, apply for an American Express card with this link. With your new card, you can earn a welcome bonus and your friends can earn a referral bonus. And
the bonuses are great. And a lot of people don't know. If you have a credit card and you want one of your friends or your family to open up a card, they give you referral bonuses of up to $100. So extra cash in your pocket, but referring that card out also gets you bonuses. Absolutely. Kudos.
Yeah, I was gonna chime in on that, because I'll tell you, ever since I had credit issues, I was anti credit card, and I was financially stable and I didn't have any debt, but my credit really wasn't going any higher. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great. And I had a conversation with Jorge and actually another buddy of mine within weeks of each other, and they were both saying, like, when you go to a gas pump, would you rather use your debit card and compromise that, or a credit card kind of thing? And I got a credit card for the security purposes. Absolutely. And I got exactly the one Jorge just put on there, the American Express Platinum. I used his link. And I'll tell you what, it gave me 125,000 points as long as I spent what I needed to. I pay it off as soon as I spend it. So I never have any interest. And I have already right now like 150,000 points, which is enough for, I was looking the other day on it. It's 4 round trip tickets for my whole family to be able to go somewhere at no expense, and booked a hotel room through it. So it's definitely got its advantages. I just think that you have to be coming from a financially disciplined point before you can do that. And I wasn't in that mind frame years ago, but if you are, you're really missing out on some good opportunities. And my credit shot up like 100 points almost immediately.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, that's an awesome testimony.
That's my favorite card, by the way.
Yeah, mine too. Now.
So if you're gonna apply for it, make sure you click on Jorge's link. He just had a birthday, and we can give him something.
Yes, bless him, and yourself.
Jay's gonna take us on a trip with those 4 tickets as well.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
That's right.
Well, if we don't have any other questions, first of all, we just want to thank you, Angelique, once again for coming on and educating us on credit and all the different usages. If you have any more questions for her, you can always look at the screen here. All our information is here. And she's an awesome resource and always available if you need any advice. So I love the quote that she has right here. We're going to end with this. It says, "The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." And that's by Steve Jobs. So I believe that about each and every one of you that attended this training today. You're crazy enough to come here to get this education, and we're going to change the world. So thank you for joining us. And don't forget, with Greystone, you invest, we do the rest. Thank you, Angelique. Thank you, everybody,
Thank
for coming.
you. Have a great one, everyone.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.